Okay, because it's similar, I thought I saw another question. So Vinay also has the same question, but his doubt is slightly different. The doubt is, hey, answer is given as 4. I think we should add 2 after scaled. Then which part can be the answer? So we said delete the, we don't need the, we said it's 2. Okay. Now if you're adding 2, you don't know whether it should be 3 or 4. It's pretty doubtful. And if you look at this in the context, what does scaled actually refer to? What is the meaning that scaled is saying, bringing? Means it's kind of reached new heights, right? It's like over and above, almost like, it's climbed or ascended. That's the meaning that scaled is giving in the context, heightened, yes. So cheating in the ongoing state board matriculation exams in UP has literally scaled new heights. So after scaled, you don't really need the preposition to, right? Remember, after some verbs, it can take up a direct object. The direct object here is new heights, new being the adjective describing the heights, right? Has scaled new heights. So just to give you an example, Raj scaled the tree quickly, right? So in this example sentence, he scaled what? Direct object, right? I don't need to. If you have seen quick tips for the English language, the finding errors, I had shared a couple of videos on YouTube. I don't know if you guys saw that. Raj scaled the tree quickly, right? So you don't need to there. That's what I'm trying to say. Some verbs, when the direct object is stated clearly, you don't need the preposition there, right? That's one of the things that you need to remember. So don't get confused and try and find a part, to squeeze in an error when there is no error actually. Priyanka, for the forthcoming practical examinations, the apparatus are properly arranged by the management to facilitate smooth conduct of examinations. Okay. Answer is no error. Why can't the sentence be the apparatus is? Okay. So this is a good question. I think there are a lot of these words in English where, you're a little confused whether to use the singular verb or the plural verb. That's always, lots of words like that. But I think for words like that, the best thing to do is to understand what meaning that word is bringing in the context, right? Always fall back on the context. Because if you ask me, apparatus, right, is also referred to an equipment, right, for a specific, to serve a specific function. Like let's say for example, breathing apparatus, right? So when you are in a situation where you need to kind of have this particular equipment, whether you're going, sea diving, or maybe you're in a situation where there's fire involved, right? And you need to kind of need this apparatus to protect yourself so you can breathe freely in the midst of that. So for a specific function, right? So if that is the meaning the context is giving, then probably you could say, you could use a singular verb, right? Let me use this itself. So let's say the breathing apparatus was worn by the firemen. Breathing apparatus was worn by the firemen. But at the same time, apparatus can also refer to things needed for a particular task, right? Or whatever purpose. So in the context, we're talking about the particular task is practical examinations. So for practical examinations, there are a lot of things that need to be put in place, right? Whatever it is, whatever those things are. So probably that's why here apparatus with are, the plural verb, is still fine, right? So we're talking about for a particular task, what are all the things that were needed, or whatever the things that were properly arranged, right? That's why apparatus here is followed by are, and that's why the context probably has no error. But keep in mind the meaning that the context always gives. Then it will be easier for you to figure out which verb should go with the word. Oh, this is 2 sentences, is it? Okay, I'm getting confused. Oh, this is sentence 1. This is sentence 2. Okay, I thought it was a very long sentence. Okay, let's look at the first sentence. India needs not just a robust arrangement, but also stringent timelines to do what? To conclude a RBI initiated review and report to Parliament. Okay, this is a tricky one. I think I know where the error is, but a lot of you will overlook this error. You might miss this error. Okay, I thought you might overlook the error, right? The reason being, it's like just like saying an MBA, right? A, vowel sound, that's it. RBI, right? Vowel sound. So you need an and not a, right? Something that people will easily overlook. 1, 2, 3, 4. The error is in part 3, right? An RBI, rightly pointed out by. What about the next sentence? The Committee on Foreign Investment in the US, for example, is required to give Congress confidential brief on request. This is again a tricky one. You might even, come back with the answer, but I'm sure you won't know why that is the answer or why that part is an error. You might say, okay, this is the part that has an error. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any guesses? Okay, I'll give you 10 more seconds. Take time. See, I want to quickly point out something here. Okay, lots of you are coming back and saying part 2, some of you saying part 3, some of you saying part 4, right? It's between 2, 3 and 4. Let's quickly address it. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the US, for example. So what's wrong in part 2? In the US is correct. We obviously know, right? When you're referring to US, you say in the United States. That's a given. So let's clear the doubt that part 2 is absolutely correct. In the US is the right way to state it. So there's no issue with part 2. For example, it doesn't have a link to the sentence. Okay. I'm sure there is a preceding context, right, where the example is probably expanded. We don't have a whole lot of context here. So, but grammatically, so far till part 2 is fine. Required to give Congress what? This is an age-old question, right? It came in English also. The United States of America. Why not the India? Okay, now let's look at it. I'm going to slightly differ from what you guys have mentioned, okay? The Committee on Foreign Investment in the US, for example, is required to give Congress confidential is the adjective, right? Which means here I need a noun form. Now quickly, for those of you who don't know, right? Here they are talking about on request, they want the Congress to arrange or get into a confidential, some sort of a meeting, right? That's what the context is giving. The information is they want them to get into some sort of a meeting at which some detailed information is or instructions are given or discussed for whatever purposes, right? So here the error is a word class error actually. I was hoping one of you would get it. Briefing, confidential briefing on request. Now quick difference for you between the two. So briefing, like I said, is a meeting or some sort of a situation where instructions or detailed information is given, okay? Brief, on the other hand, is actually a verb. It can be used as an adjective also. You give information to someone or you give instructions to someone, right? So can you please brief this person about what happened, but about what happened in the briefing, right? So just to differentiate, and the clue word for you is the adjective confidential itself. You need a noun form here and not a verb form, okay? So that's the difference here. The error is in part 4, correct? So those of you who said part 4, by fluke you will get 1 point. But the actual reason is it's a word class error. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the US, for example, is required to give Congress confidential briefing on request. Some sort of a meeting or situation which detailed information. So keeping in mind the word class, briefing would be a better fit here. On request is fine, meaning they are requesting on this particular request, they are supposed to do this or they are supposed to take care of this. The Foreign Investment Committee in the US is on request is asked to give Congress some sort of a detailed information or instruction. And for you to understand the difference between brief and briefing, let me also give you an example sentence. If I say, Vijay briefed the team before the exam, right? Or you summarized whatever had to be done. Yeah, any questions before we move forward? So you can brief someone about what happened in the briefing. Anyway, so either ways, I think a lot of you who came back and said, add the indefinite article before confidential, you can add it, you can also not add it, it will still be right, is what I'm trying to say. In fact, let's add it because it's perfect. Congress what? A confidential briefing on request. That makes even more sense. So either ways, the error is in part 4.